I want to just say a few more things before we have pub time. We are taking the ideas here today, and we are going to develop policies. As you know from when we launched, we don't mess around with policy, and we made that very clear to MPs who, as I say, several of them had like 20 arrive at their desks. I had someone email me in like the most polite, passive-aggressive I've ever seen, saying, "Dear Dr. Newport, just for your knowledge," no, "How are you? Just for your knowledge, we have received 11 copies of your bill this morning. Thank you." Great. So I offered them to meet for a coffee and discuss the bill. They didn't get back to me. But MPs are talking about it in Parliament. Our ideas are out there. They are actually in the infrastructure bill. In a watered-down format, yes. Not in the way that I would have wanted them, yes. Not in the way we advocated for them. But they are actually there and were announced only a few weeks after we had gone live with the bill. And actually were most of the main points that they eventually made clear in the bill itself. Why? Because they wanted to ride the news wave of what all of us in this room created. Again, we'd only been around at that point for 2 months. That is completely unprecedented. This entire event, completely unprecedented. This, by the way, is event number 2. 3 if you also count our drinks event, which, by the way, was just a drinks event and filled with 300 people in a pub. It is something unbelievable. When Joe says we want to 10x this thing, that is exactly what we want to do, and we want to do it as fast as possible. Because we are running out of time. We are running out of time, and I'm bed fucking up of reading news of minus 1%, minus 0.1%, GDP per capita constantly stagnated or declining. This is completely and utterly unsustainable. I was outside thinking about this and what we're doing, and I thought about my son, and I thought, what world are we gifting to him? And is it better than the one that I got? And the answer is no. It is a complete fucking failure, and I'm tired of it. When people ask me, why do you do this thing? Questions from journalists, why? It's like, why wouldn't you? Things are terrible right now. I want to go back and just play video games. Everyone always laughs, I'm like, no, really? Instead, we are here on a Saturday where I'm not seeing my son, I am here, right? Because I believe in you, and I believe that we are actually going to be able to change this thing because we have to. The alternative is too bad. And how do we know that? We've been living in it for 20 years. I'm done. I'm just done. And I think everyone in this room is done. It's something we have to change. It's something that will change, but it won't change simply by osmosis. It is something I learned in the bully campaign when I showed people in government there are dogs killing children, and it was massively popular for you to do something, and they said they weren't going to do anything until it was a national issue. I took this as, okay, I'll make it a national issue. I think the main thing is, leave me the hell alone. This taught me something really, really fundamental, which is you have to make a lot of noise and you have to build something. It is also the case that the biggest impacts over the last several years in government has been movements. The environmentalist movement. There hasn't been a green government in power ever. And yet, we are talking about newts on stage, right? This is highly successful. This is what success looks like. We will 10x to build something that cannot be ignored by Westminster, which otherwise they will ignore, and we know they have because they have for 20 years. Labour have come in, are stating that they're going to do something radical, exactly as Chris was saying earlier, we are called radicals. They are not yet radical enough, and we will push them in that direction. Not because we like pushing people, but because if we don't, nothing will happen. So in that vein, because we are not yet busy enough, the volunteers are not yet giving enough of their time, we are putting together a whole slate of events over the next few months. We are running LFG 2 will be in Manchester, 3, sorry, I'm already losing count. This is LFG 3 will be in Manchester in just a few weeks. We are going to make sure that LFG is across the country. This is important because growth needs to be everywhere. This is unacceptable that we have a complete deindustrialization across the nation. This is absurd and has been chosen mostly by energy policy, right? Like there is cheap. If we had cheap energy, we would have a much stronger industrial base, and we've completely lost that. Unacceptable, and the parties are not yet moving nearly as fast on that as they need to before all the jobs flee overseas. And when they do go, by the way, it's harder to get them back than they want you to believe. And that makes us poorer in a very permanent way. Britain is full of talent. We should not chuck it out the door. It is insane. So we will be running in Manchester. We'll be running an LFG Women in Tech event in London on the 1st of May, I believe is the stated date. We'll also be running an LFG Crush Crime crossover as well. So for those of you interested in crushing crime, you can join us. We'll talk about the economics of it and have a few policies ready to go. We will also be taking ideas from this room today, and we are already engaging with business leaders to put together demands supported by business leaders from what you've talked about here today to demand things in the spending review, which otherwise, by the way, sets government priorities for the next 3 years. We are going to do that in the next few months in one of these LFG events, perhaps even in LFG4, which is yet to be announced as well. So we have a whole slate of potentials. And one thing which is very exciting, we will be setting up an LFG hackathon to build projects that will actually improve the country. We are already starting to engage VCs on this and putting something together so that in the ways that things are failing, we will build where it is failing. That is something which I think is extremely important. We do stuff. And I know all of you in this room are people who do things. So we are going to give a platform for you to be able to do that, and we will make as loud a noise as possible to show that, for instance, it is very easy to do some things government and the civil service and otherwise say are very, very difficult. I reckon we can probably build them in about a day or two. I say we, I can't code at all. But I will be cheering. We put together that and these events. We will send this all to you. Please do sign up to our mailing list if you're not yet on it. Please do bring people along to our chapter events, to these events in the future. We will have ideas from this on the spending review. We have multiple other policies in the pipeline as well. We have loads more things to put our name to and to push and to make noise on. But the biggest thing possible, the biggest additive is every single person in this room. If you want to volunteer with us, please email jack@lookingforgrowth.uk. We've set this up so that we have a pipeline here because we have so many people who want to help us, and we want to make sure that there is so much talent in this room. We make the most of everyone here that wants to throw in, because there is so much to be done. By the way, just a few weeks ago when we were asking people to help us stuff envelopes with bills, we had people like a few VCs turn up, energy traders, and entrepreneurs. That is absurd. When I told someone, I won't say who, from one of the major parties, they looked at me like I was insane and then said, we can't get these people to advise us. And they're packing envelopes. What the hell is going on? This is because LFG is something unique. It is something we are building. It is something you are building. We believe this can be 10x'd within only the next few months. Please help us do this in every single way that we possibly can. Because if we don't, we know the path and it sucks. I'm fed up with it. I don't want to give my son a worse world. I don't want us to live in a worse world. And I want to go back and play video games. So thank you all very, very much. Thank you.